Welcome to Inside the Moms Club. I'm your host, Monica Samuels, and I'm here with my co-host, Julie Orchid. Hello, Julie.
Another hot day in Austin.
I know, it's in the high 80s.
Yeah, it's a little toasty, but
It is.
it's going to drop this weekend just in time.
I know, that's why I'm wearing this jacket, because I feel I'm going to be ready this
right.
time, because you know how it is here in Austin. It's just up and down and up and down.
It can't make up its mind.
No, it cannot.
Yeah.
Just like we can't sometimes. I have a question for you. So you have a daughter that's now in college.
I do.
And you're an empty nester.
This is my second child going off to college.
Right.
So I am an empty nester.
And so
loving it.
I know you are, but I know you're relaxing, having fun, doing the podcast. It's a lot of fun. This is great. Do you have any other plans? Like career-wise, you've been a nurse, an account executive.
I have been.
A mom. A mom. Oh, yeah, that's very important. Here on the Moms Club, we put that's a high value.
Right.
So you've done all of those things.
I've done a lot of things.
What are you going to do next? What's your next? I wrote a book, Comeback Moms, and we talked about, when moms take time off to take care, raise the kids, like how do they stay plugged back in? What's their next act going to be?
I mean, this question kind of makes me sweat a little bit because I have to say it's something I think about all the time. And I have so many questions about it. But when I was younger, they 100% told me that I needed to be a funeral director.
A funeral director? Who told you that?
That one of those tests that you do, they're like, this is, what it came out to be. And then I was like, I don't know if that's...
And what was it about you that they thought...
Listen, it's a lucrative business because...
Oh, it really is.
I'm just going to say that would have been...
Chase, one of his fraternity brothers, they own 2 funeral homes in Little Rock.
Right.
Their motto is, we put the fun in funeral. I mean, they were kind of this fun family. I mean, it's like you weren't expecting that was...
So I never really looked at it like that. But, I mean, as far as that goes, I never looked at myself as this widely empathetic person. I'm working on it. But, yeah, funeral director. And I don't think you would have picked that job for me either. No, I would not have picked that for you. No. Yeah, I don't know.
That really, that came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting that.
For sure. My family still giggles about that for sure. But anyway, I don't know what this was kind of like my next chapter. I have loved every second of podcasting with you over the last 4 years. It's been something that I've learned an enormous amount about and that we've gotten to interview so many people. And it has been really true joy.
Well, this is your next act. I mean, I think,
okay.
I'm just looking at, if I get a new co-host or something.
That's
not going to happen.
Oh, my goodness. No,
I'm joking. You're my co-host. I mean, what would I do without you? We're a team.
We're a team. But, for sure.
But it's always good to have, have other ideas about what else you might want to be doing.
Did you circle back to what you were originally doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, what I did, so I started out when I was a kid. I was in high school. I was a journalism person. I was the editor of my school paper. I wrote a funny article.
There you go.
That won a statewide award for best column in the state of Texas. And then I went to college and I went into law school, went to law. Then I did some, politics and stuff.
So you're back to writing.
And now I'm back to what I did to start out with, and I absolutely love it. So, you can go full circle, and, that's all of that.
Oh.
So,
hopefully somebody can teach me something about
I have somebody here that's going to be perfect for you, and I hope that it turns out that she thinks that, that after...
I have many questions. I'll try not to turn it into a therapy session for myself.
Okay. Well, I will kick you here under the table if I think that's about to happen. We're thrilled to have with us today the co-founder of YouScience, the nation's leading aptitude-based career discovery platform. She is the co-author of Your Hidden Genius, the science-backed strategy to uncover and harnessing your innate talents. A TED Talk, a TEDx Nashville speaker, and trusted voice on the future of work. She helps people understand their innate abilities, which are so important today in a world where AI is just taking over careers and education and everything else. Please welcome Betsy Wills. Betsy, welcome to the Moms Club.
Great to see you, Monica. Hey, Julie.
Hey.
Wonderful to be here.
Yeah, we're so thrilled that you're here. So Betsy was kind enough to allow me to take the aptitude test that they give with YouScience.
Yes.
So I could see what my aptitudes were.
Okay.
And find my hidden genius, I hope. And I
So
think we will.
many.
Well, tell me. So first of all, before I share what happened in my case, tell us, what is your hidden genius? What are we looking for when we're looking for our hidden genius?
Well, that's a great question. The truth of the matter is we all have hidden genius. School tends to beat it out of us pretty early because school celebrates about 2 out of 52 aptitudes. Okay. And this
Oh.
is what's so hidden. People do not realize because it hasn't been talked about before just recently. But your hidden genius are basically your innate abilities, the things you're born with,
Hmm.
just like being left-handed or right-handed. We have so many different abilities that, we notice as parents, of course. You might have a child with a musical ability, and it's very clear early on, or they may have artistic ability. But there truly are 52 that you can measure scientifically. And that's the exciting thing about modern career guidance.
No,
That's fascinating.
that is great. And so I took their test.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what Betsy said it was going to be. She said some of these things you're going to whiz right through and think they're great, and others you're going to want to throw your computer right through the wall.
Right.
And I have to say,
was there a math problem on this?
See,
Yes, there are.
you know me very well.
I was kind of guessing.
Yeah,
but
there
I
you
was
go. See,
that would do it for me.
That's how well you know me. Yes, the minute a number appeared on the screen, I was like, "Oh, this is."
Oh boy!
And then there was another test where you fold over in your mind. It's spatial sort of thing. Fold over paper,
like origami, like.
Yes.
Well, except there's holes in it, and you're trying to match up the holes.
Oh boy! Okay.
And I know, I was sort of like,
yeah.
But then others I just loved. There was, taking words and showing what sequential order they should go in, and I was like,
okay.
I thought I certainly got 100 on that.
Of course,
that was my favorite thing.
Exactly. Well, it's really a lot like games because what we're looking at are these knacks that people have, and some people truly do have a knack for, say, remembering phone numbers, or they can remember their license plate number, which comes in handy if you're parking and you have to pay for that. But there's really over 52 that you can measure, and not all of them are created equal. So, just because you can remember a phone number, it may not help you that much in your career, but there are several that do. And that's the beauty of understanding them, is they're really the seeds of our skills, not the skills themselves.
Gotcha.
So we're looking at what you're born with.
So, Betsy, if you heard the beginning of this about, what they told me I was going to be or what I should shoot for or whatever.
Yes.
Yep. So
mine was Forest Ranger.
Oh,
by the way.
Course.
Oh, wow.
Of course it was. Yeah.
I don't even I'll wear heels. I don't even wear, boots very
You look good in a hat. I look good in a black suit. That's the way. Yeah. But what I was going to say is, what is the difference? Obviously, I'm a different age group now, and that's what they were doing before. But what I was reading a little bit in your book and watching your TED Talk is, what is the main difference? So give us a heads up on, exactly what that is.
Okay, so basically since the 1960s, career guidance has been caught in the Stone Age.
Right.
And what people think of as guidance was doing these surveys. And we all took the same one in high school. It's still out there today. It asks you to answer questions on a scale of 1 to 5. So it might have asked you, do you like building cabinets? Okay, now you're 17.
Right.
Okay. I don't know if you know that. So it's kind of a ridiculous kind of assessment to only use on its own. It is important to know what you're interested in, but at 17, your field of vision is very narrow. But that toolkit is really all schools and colleges and employers have had. They use things like Myers-Briggs or this interest survey and call it career guidance.
Wow.
Now, we've known forever, though, that if you could measure people's aptitudes, that is the secret sauce that you need. But computing power wasn't really there to do this at scale. So if you had the money, even since the 1940s, you could go take this assessment. But it cost you about $1,000 in 2 days.
Yeah.
So really what the book is about is the fact that, hey, guess what? Now this is available to everybody online. for almost nothing. So it's included actually in the book, but you can go buy it online for $49, or if you buy my book, it's $16.
Yeah.
But it's all the same assessment that has been current, in time $1,000 to take. It's a really researched psychometric assessment that can tell you truly what your natural abilities are. And so that's the exciting thing. We're in a new day. Just like medicine or dating, better data, better outcomes.
Totally. That's where, I'm going to let the AI people do my dating for me. And then they can come to me and bring me exactly what they find.
Make new friends for you and everything.
Exactly.
So when you take the test when you're 17, your aptitude test, does your aptitude ever change? Like if I took one when I was younger and it says so it's always the same. So if I took it then at an aptitude test and it said, this is what you're good at.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Our aptitudes start emerging when we're about 2. So
wow.
You are all moms. We all notice certain things about our children early. But as we get older and approach puberty, other aptitudes show up as well.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time we're 17, they're fixed. And again, we're not talking about what you've learned. We're talking about innate abilities.
Right.
And so they can always be developed if you're 27, 37, 107. But your scores will always be the same when you take these assessments because we're just measuring your baseline.
So the thing that you marry with this are, of course, your interests. Because what I might be really good at, what if I have no interest in it? Or what if I'm interested in opera music, but I can't carry a tune to save my life. So how do you, when you're doing this entire analysis to decide what should I be doing, you look at the aptitude and then you look at the interest and you figure out where they do meet. Is that, I'm getting that?
And really, Monica, what we're looking for as well, the third part of that intersecting wheel is what the world will pay you to do.
Oh, true.
Okay.
Yes, you got to be paid, Monica.
Oh, yes. There's that part.
Otherwise, you can have all the interest in the world in playing the piano, and you can also have the aptitude, but you may or may not be paid for that. So that's called a hobby. And those are super important. Hobbies are hugely important. So it reveals that as well. But when you're looking for a job, you do want to find that intersection of your aptitudes plus your interest and what the world will pay you to do. Because honestly, we all want our children and ourselves to sleep indoors, preferably, rather than outdoors.
Unless they're a forest ranger, yes.
Yeah,
well, forest ranger, exactly.
So I have a question. Why? Okay, no shade on my parents. But it was always before, like, you need to find a job, and this was kind of beat into you. We don't care if you like the job. It's a job. And so I definitely want to do I have 2 daughters, and I want them to obviously not live at home, AKA be paid, but I want them also to be happy. Life is too short to do something that's just a job. Why aren't we teaching this more in schools? Why are we knocking out? You're smiling because you're like, I have a great answer. But why is this not more common as we develop?
Well, I think there's been a missed message of follow your passion. And that is really what you're saying. You want them to be happy, of course. But really the message is bring passion to your work. And what aptitudes help you identify are the things that feel most satisfying and easy for you. And that is going to be, that's the important step we need to be understanding prior to willy-nilly just picking a career because, maybe we watched LA Law or Law and Order. So we go to law school or, there's a lot of things that influence our choices. And, parents want to tell their children, they want to fix it early.
Sure.
Okay. We tend to just want to get it all straight so that they're safe. But the main thing we need to be doing is really encouraging exploration and really encouraging exploration that align with your aptitudes.
Oh, yeah.
I think when we were growing up too, I mean, there was an emphasis of we don't want you sleeping on the street sort of thing.
Of course.
So for me, I know, and I've told this story before, but when I was really young, I wanted to be an actress because I was good at it.
Right.
And then there was like, well,
you are good at it.
You'll be poor. We don't want to do that. And then I wanted to be a history professor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was excited about that. Like, well, you'll be poor, but we think that's great. And I'm like, I don't want to be poor. And then a journalist, and it was like, well, you'll be poor. It wasn't until I got to be open to go to law school that they were encouraging. And I think my aptitude test did show that it's not like I don't have aptitude to be an attorney.
No.
But I did need to have a passion for it, which really wasn't entirely there.
Right.
So,
well, I think also, what Julie was saying about, sometimes we're in jobs. I mean, jobs are jobs,
Sure.
and there's a reason work is a 4-letter word. I mean, it's the truth. But a lot of times our unhappiness or dissatisfaction with our jobs is because we aren't honoring some aptitudes that need to be taken out for a run. And so before we put our job on the witness stand that is paying us well, like being a lawyer, I would first examine, what have I left on the table? Maybe it's a hobby I need to be adding to my life, not necessarily quitting this job knee jerk.
Right.
Now, sometimes we are in the wrong job, that's for sure. But I like to tell people to, hold the phone just a minute before they quit.
Absolutely. As I tell my children, it's a lot easier to look for a job when you have a job. So
very good advice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have done a lot of things in my life. I currently am running some businesses, or properties, I should say, on the side, doing that as well. But I'm looking into I don't know how else to phrase this. Am I too old? Let's talk about age and how this works for people who are gotten their children off to college, and maybe they want to discover what do I want to do? Do I want to do something different? Listen, I've always done careers in connection, whether it's account executive, I became a nurse, we're doing podcasting.
Right.
And
sales
this is really
comes
great
easily to me, things like that.
No, the whole reason I started YouScience was I took an aptitude assessment in my, when my children were in school. I mean, they were already in school. I'd had a job before that. I'd then stayed at home with my children. It's the perfect time when you're reevaluating. Any pivot point is a good time to start by understanding your aptitudes.
Yeah.
That's really why I wrote the book, Your Hidden Genius, was so that everybody could have access. There's no bad time to understand what they are. And, all of us have this nagging feeling at one time or another, like maybe I'm not in the right job, or maybe I'm dissatisfied. That's normal. That's very normal. So giving yourself the time to kind of look back at what your core innate abilities are kind of gives you the confidence to try something new.
Yes.
Or to, look at other people not as a flawed version of you, which is what we tend to do,
Yeah.
We really do. So it's that insight of self that's the beginning point. And then it can, it maps you to all the careers out there. If you're interested in moving on with a formal career, you're going to get a lot of good ideas by that matching process. I mean, like I said, dating is personalized, medicine is personalized, career matching is now personalized.
And that's really exciting for our children, I think we still do it. There's the AIMS test too. I mean, they do the same thing, I think, although they charge you $1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some of the kids we know took that test. So it's good to help.
Great. I love it. Yeah.
It's good to help them, or YouScience, to do the test that you have to decide what they want to major in and what they might want to do. But I'm excited about it for our moms out there who are just in your position, or, they're ready to, what's my next act going to be?
Right.
I think this is great for them.
I mean, my daughter doesn't know what's coming her way at Christmas and Thanksgiving, or Thanksgiving and Christmas testing as a freshman.
Neither does my son.
Yeah.
My son is going to take this aptitude test.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I think it will help him because he came to us recently and he said, I'm glad I had this finance degree and I'm in this big analyst position, but I really think I should be a personal trainer. And I was like, I mean, that's nice, I guess, but I don't really know that
So
I want
you're
you to give up
yeah,
your day job. Plus, we've seen his credit card bills. I'm not sure he can afford to be a personal
right.
trainer, so there's a lot of
There's
issues
not
there.
enough
But
clients that could pay that is what you're
maybe it would
saying.
be helpful for him to see for himself. Like, it's because it is
Exactly.
eye-opening. When you were going over my test results with me, I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I know I aced that part, and I know I was awful at that." So, but I learned a few other things about
Notice how
myself.
Monica's trying to get an A on an aptitude
I
test.
know, I know.
Uh, uh,
There's no A's in
That's
aptitude.
my nature.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Now,
well,
I love to give example too about what's different about aptitude assessments is there's no good or bad score,
yeah.
and as Monica knows, some of the assessments, they feel like games. When
Yeah.
you say, Monica, they
Mhm.
feel like
Yeah,
games.
they do.
And yes, you do feel like throwing the computer out the window for some of them, and others, you're going to think, why was this so hard? But everybody's different into which games they find to be that way. And it's so clarifying to kind
Mhm.
of understand these differences all of a sudden about yourself. So, again, it jumpstarts a lot of things for
Well, yeah, it
people.
jump starts, I would say, a little bit of your self-worth too, because if, like you said, I mean, a lot of times, we all did stay-at-home mom for a period of time,
Oh, yeah.
and so I see two things on this. A, is it harder for women, you think, to take this test and understand, where they would be placed or what their, aptitude is? Or and then where do hobbies fit into this? Because Monica and I talk about hobbies all the time. I mean,
Sure.
and what we would be good at, what would we enjoy? And I have no idea why I struggle with a hobby,
Huh.
but I do.
Well, there's a lot of people, yeah, who my husband has no hobbies,
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, we got to
really.
work on that. Yeah.
No, yeah, shopping is if that's counted as a
that's
hobby, he
counted
has
as a
that, but
hobby.
other
Yeah.
than that.
That's computer science.
Oh, okay.
Right, right,
Hey,
right. You're so
now I
right.
feel better about it for myself, yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. You're navigating all that stuff. No, so we do tend as women particularly to discount things that come easily to us. Because
Yeah.
what we do is we say, "Oh, anybody can do that. That's not valuable."
Yeah.
And it's the very thing that is. And so,
Mhm.
this really reveals that. But what we do find, we've tested 7.5 million people now on this
Wow.
assessment.
Oh, Betsy,
And
that's
we have a
fantastic.
lot of data across every age and stage.
Yep.
People who are 70 years old, people who are 17. And, what we find is women particularly tend to score as more likely and more able to be, for instance, computer scientists
Oh,
than men.
Hmm.
And it also, construction has been one of the things that a lot of women don't realize would be a great career path for them. I mean, we tend to think about, the person, on the scaffolding, but there's a
right.
huge industry that because it's very much about organization, very high paying jobs. So
Mhm.
you uncover more options than you close out when you find this out. And then, you know, I think I can't remember what your second question was.
It was about hobbies
Hobbies,
and
yeah.
why
Oh,
we
hobbies. Oh,
struggle. I
yeah.
mean,
No,
why
hobbies.
yeah.
Yeah. No, hobbies. So, for example, you might score, you have a suite of suggestions that come up from a
Okay.
career standpoint when you get your scores. I know Monica saw this. But let's say, for example, someone who scores to be the same profile as an architect. Okay.
Oh,
Just because you have the aptitude for being an architect doesn't mean you are one right now.
right.
You have to add learning and practice and schooling and training. But for someone who scores like that, you're going to have faster uptake. If you did apply, if you've had interest and wanted to do it and you
Mhm.
score like that, it's going to become easy for you. But the same profile who scores as an architect also would enjoy fine art photography, and it
Mm.
shows
Oh,
as well,
Mhm.
yeah.
which is fascinating to me. But if you think about, they're similar in the sense of, it's lighting, it's measuring distance,
Mhm.
it's scale, it's a lot of things that architects do. But that's a clear hobby,
So
not
true.
necessarily a job.
Right.
When you were mentioning earlier about women have shown great aptitude in computer science or even in construction, there's a part of the test, as I recall, where they kind of asked you about your interests later at the
Yeah,
end of it. Do you
yeah,
find because do women show a lot? I mean, do they express, "Oh, yeah, I am interested in that," and so it matches up? Or do they
no.
not I mean, is that more societal, do you think? Like, we're not encouraging them to be interested in that because we've sort of got this
Yes.
stereotype that they can't do it for some reason when actually they really could.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I
how do
mean,
we
I don't
fix
know
that?
many unfortunately, what we do is what we see, or what we think we're interested in is what we've been exposed to.
Mhm.
And so, yes, I think, and of course, we can't group everybody together, but most, women tend to be encouraged towards the helping professions, for example, and there's nothing wrong with that, nursing, teaching. And so, what we see when people answer that interest portion is a disproportionate amount of women are, answering it, and it says, oh, you should be those things.
Hmm.
But when we reveal that only their aptitudes, it shows a completely different picture. And so as early as we can tell people that, the better from the standpoint of our kids. But even as adults, I think it gives people, the license to try things they may never have tried. Maybe you want to take a programming class and you never considered that before because no
Right.
one told you you could.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, that's really interesting.
We need to be students again.
I know. Well, I was one
well,
of
you're still a student. You're a life student.
Yeah.
Truly.
I was
I believe you. I mean, it's definitely something that shouldn't be put on the back burner of,
Mhm.
for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
How long did it take you to do all this research and put this book together?
Longer than I want to admit. No, well, the company started in 2010,
Yeah.
and but we did not come up with this assessment ourselves. As Monica said,
Yeah.
AIM is out there. There's something called Johnson O'Connor, and you can't just make up an aptitude test. It's not my little aptitude test.
Right.
We actually bought the assessment that has been researched since the 1940s, and all we did was we bought it. I mean, we brought it into an online environment to make it accessible and democratize it so everyone could access it. And then we worked with the US government. There's something called ONET that they've built that maps every job out there. I mean, hundreds of thousands of jobs. And they've been mapping people's aptitudes since the 1960s. But unless I have your data, I can't really do that match. And so now we can.
Hmm.
So cool.
Do you have
So it's a new day.
Do you have a favorite story that you can share of someone who's taken this and has come back and reported, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
now
Yeah, now
I'm now a brigadier general, and
yeah.
who knew that was gonna happen?"
we have so many. I mean, from, a young woman who came to see me who actually took it in 2012 and came into my office because I was working at a financial firm with her. And she said, you're the person who, was part of YouScience. I took it 10 years ago, and that's why I'm an accountant.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
The woman, she
wow.
goes, I never thought I would ever do that. And it revealed that was an option for me, and I pursued it. And I'm so happy. But my real apocryphal story is I had a woman come to me whose parents had always told her she should be a veterinarian
Mm.
because she loved animals. And this is what we do,
Yeah, we've
she
heard this.
loved animals. She had a potbelly pig.
Sure.
She had cats, dogs, everything. She had every stuffed animal. Remember that scene in E.T. where
Everything in the
Yeah.
closet and
Drew Barrymore's in the
yeah, yeah,
closet?
yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah,
was
yeah.
like that. And she was a good student. And so her parents were like, you should be a vet. And so all through high school, she studied really hard. She got into veterinary school because she was just chasing this thing that her parents told her she should do. And she was a good student, so why not? And she gets to her second year of veterinary school
Mhm.
and she is miserable. And she comes to
Mm.
me and she said, I love animals. That's true. But I really don't like sick animals.
Oh,
Mm.
And I
yeah.
never considered that before. Right.
Isn't it
Now, she,
funny? Yeah.
yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
We just march along with whatever we're told in a lot of ways. And so this is, like a clean look. Now she's a sound engineer, super successful as that,
Wow.
and had the
Yeah.
courage to pivot, which is great.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
does take a lot of courage when people
Yeah.
are squawking in your ear about what you should be doing.
Mhm.
So is this where the burnout comes in when people aren't following, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
discovering aptitude and uh,
Burnout is typically where you are basically going through life using your non-dominant hand, right?
oh my
Mhm.
God.
You're in a job where every day is just taking too much effort, honestly, or you're main activities are things that really don't align with your innate abilities. And so you get worn out. And burnout's very real. And, sometimes it's boredom, sometimes it's burnout. It can be either very easily. But I do think before one, pulls the ripcord or puts their job on the witness stand as the problem, it's a good idea to just see if there's something you could be doing that would give you more joy that's aligned to your aptitude, even if you're not paid for it. And then if you're completely miserable, of course, you need to
What if
adjust.
you and I know some friends that are in the situation where their kids are studying like engineering and they're struggling mightily, but they say they like it, but it
Okay.
may not be what they're good at and able to. I mean, should a
Yeah.
mom encourage their kid, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to put the pressure on you to be an engineer
Yeah.
if
Well,
it's that much of a
sometimes those
struggle.
degrees, sometimes those degrees, though, like engineering, even law, are training you how to think a certain way. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're absolutely going to be working as an engineer your entire life. And so, I'm a fan of these like learn a skill kind of majors if you can, because you'll find a way to kind of adjust it. I think, as you said, life is long,
Yeah.
and acquiring skills at the younger ages is really helpful to give you a foot in the door to something and then keep adjusting. So, every situation's different, but, if they're failing, it's probably not a fit. But
Yeah.
if they're just working really hard,
And
you know,
I
good
would
for
agree with
them.
that. Well, we have some moms who would like to ask you some questions,
Okay.
and they are our Zoomer moms, which we would like to give
Yes.
special thanks to our sponsor, Woodlock Resort, for helping make the Zoomer Mom episode possible.
That's
They
right.
have 67 years of heartfelt hospitality
Ooh.
and 3 amazing properties, including one of the top destination spas and family resorts in the U.S. Woodlock is truly where tradition meets tranquility. If you would like to book your Woodlock getaway, you can at woodlock.com.
Yes, I would.
And with that, we want to introduce our Zoomer moms. Welcome, Zoomer moms. Welcome to the
Hello.
Moms Club. Ladies, I'm going to introduce each one of you. I want you to tell us where you're from, a little bit about yourself, and do you have a question for Betsy? Marge, welcome to the Moms Club.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Marge Chatterjee. I'm from Western New York originally. I've lived all over the country. I'm very blessed to be married to my soulmate for 40 years, and we have a 34-year-old son. My husband is from India, so we've been able to travel as well, which has been a real joy. And I've had a lot of jobs and careers in my lifetime. I was Ronald McDonald's road manager in the late 1980s.
I
in
love it.
California.
That is not what I expected to say. I love that. Go ahead.
I love it.
In 2001, when we lived in Connecticut, I was placed as a paraprofessional in a second grade classroom, and I finally figured out what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
So I became a teacher.
Oh.
So, and now I am transitioning into retirement. So you said a lot of interesting things.
Great. Do you have
It's supposed to touch you.
Do you have a question that you'd like to ask Betsy?
I have a question. How would someone like me figure out, their aptitudes and how they fit into my interests at this point in my life as a over 60-year-old woman ready to, not really go anywhere from 9 to 5 and get paid to do it.
Yeah, we're talking about your 5 to 9. Too.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I love your question because I get this all the time, and that is truly why I wrote the book is for you. And I mean, for everyone post 25, this works. And in the book, we talk about a woman actually who managed the Goodyear blimp.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God. That's so cool.
I
Cool.
wish I'd known you. I would have put you in the book. Ronald McDonald. That would have been a tough call. Which one I would have put in there? But No, your aptitudes don't change. And, my guess is, again, you would learn that you have a very strong idea rate when you take this assessment, which is literally a lot of teachers have that. Writers have this, journalists have this, bloggers have this, uh, trainers have this, mentors have this. That would be one guess of the 52 aptitudes you might be assessed on. So it would give you a lot of ideas of how you could use these skills that you've clearly honed and find new ways around it. 60 is so not over. Okay, that's number one. One person we talked to in the book is actually the White House usher who was 70 who took this, and he scored the same as he had scored 30 years prior, taking the very expensive assessment. So again, your aptitudes won't change. So I would encourage you to do it and revisit so many options you may have put on the back burner. And I'm going to also send you a little booklet I made of hobbies that align to each aptitude. So I'll send that to you.
Cool.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then if you pick up a copy of Your Hidden Genius, you can take the test. I think there's a code on there. Yeah, you definitely. It's really easy. I did it. So if it's a great
Monica,
book.
I think you have a future.
It's a great book. Thank you very much. Hannah, welcome to the Moms Club. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and do you have a question for Betsy?
Yes. Hi, I'm Hannah Holsey. I live in Charlotte, Tennessee, about an hour west of Nashville. I have had a lot of career changes in my life. I was in the military straight out of high school and then left to become a midwife and did out of hospital birth for a while until there's different midwives. It's a whole thing. But I'm back in school now for nurse midwifery. Finished my nursing degree and now I'm in school to be a nurse midwife with a dream of owning a birth center one day. So I feel like being a business owner really calls to me. I would have loved a test like this to guide that, and maybe I would have landed here sooner, but I found that later. My question revolves around my own kids. I have 3 of them. I have a 4-year-old, a 12-year-old son who I have told should be a veterinarian his whole life, which is really funny.
Could be. Make sure he likes sick animals. Okay.
Good question, because now I'm wondering for him and my 16-year-old, is it too soon to have them do an aptitude test, or is this something that we wait a little longer for?
Yeah, I really recommend they do sort of a younger version of this when you're 12 in the school systems now. About 25% of all U.S. high schools use this now. But really, your aptitudes are not fixed until you've gone through puberty. So it is dependent on how maybe mature or ready the person can be. I mean, some boys, for example, they need to be 25. I think not every boy, but no, we recommend it really at about 16, 17 years old because that is the critical time where, boy, the choices are expensive going forward. And, you really need to have at least some general idea and direction so you don't make a huge misstep. I love the idea that you're back in nurse midwifery school. I love that so much. I think I read, I'm from Tennessee too, that 5 people in the Vanderbilt class of 100 in medical school are over 50 right now.
Oh,
And
that's great.
so, again, there's different zigs and zags we take that bring us to where we are, and there's probably a pattern of your life that has led you to this, and it will relate to your aptitudes.
Yeah.
So I look forward
super encouraging.
That's
to
great.
learning things. Yeah.
Chelsea, welcome to the Moms Club. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and do you have a question for Betsy?
Yes, hi. I'm Chelsea. I'm here from Austin, Texas. I have 4 little ones.
Oh.
I have been a hairstylist my whole life. When I was little, I remember cutting my Barbie's hair, and I would get Kool-Aid and make paste and highlight my Barbie's hair. So I'm very lucky that my job's never really felt like work to me, and there's a lot of different ways that I can go. But my question is about my kiddos also. My son, who he's very gifted. He's very naturally gifted with sports. And I kind of struggle between how to, you know, make sure that school and something that he can actually go on to a career with isn't overshadowed by playing sports,
Yeah.
and how to kind of make sure that sports stay as kind of more of a hobby and fun. And then he doesn't really like school, doesn't like to learn, it's just sports balls.
Yeah, my guess, number one, is I mean, again, there's 52 aptitudes, but my guess is for sure he's probably a 3D visualizer, which is that, paper folding exercise that menaces so many people, but for him, it's probably very easy. We do find a lot of people who aren't as big fans of the lecture in school. They more like the lab, or they like the hands-on something. They tend to be 3D visualizers, and that's a huge gift. And what you want to do is, of course, explore different ways he's going to be able to use that. And I would recommend taking this assessment because it'll open his mind to those options. But also, I'd say, kids that are doing sports at a level like you're discussing or really loving it, that is such a great discipline that carries over, of course, to other things in their life. That commitment, that focus. So you want to talk to him also about how that's so amazing that he has those aspects of it. It's not just about winning or playing. It's about these other lessons that he's getting from doing it. And I wouldn't worry about him a bit. I just make sure he stays in school because it'll broaden his options going forward. But yeah, I think he'll discover a lot in this assessment of other things that he could be doing outside of the classroom that will pay him eventually and will be educational opportunities for him that he just may not realize.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's great.
I mean, I have to say that most people who probably read your book, take the test, don't feel as lost any longer about whether it's in the career or what they're going to do next. I mean, Marge and I might start a group together, but I'm just saying, what we're going to do next. But I'm just saying in general, I mean, I think that's a normal feeling for a lot of people who have maybe stepped away from what they were doing to do something else and are now looking for the next thing.
Yeah, it's totally normal. And having an objective view of yourself, people don't give themselves that. We're sort of lost and thinking we have to figure this out on our own, and you don't. Right. You don't. There's lots of these are the types of resources to start the journey with again, and just be encouraged. There's, life is long and it's exciting.
Well, I'm excited that you have this book available to everyone, and
I can't wait.
Test. And where can we find it? We have the book here.
Yes, show everyone the book
which
again.
Is amazing, as we say
colors.
on the Moms Club book. Where
Thank
can
you.
we find the book?
Yes, I love it.
Where can we find you on social media? And so everybody knows, to take the online test and then they can do all this online as well.
Well, you've got the book there, and I'd love for you to hold it up. On the back, there's a sticker, and every book includes a code to go online and take the assessment. You start at yourhiddengenius.com.
Nice.
And it'll get you right into the assessment. But you, of course, can purchase the book anywhere books are sold, Amazon, etc. And my personal, social is just Betsy Wills on Instagram. But I would say go to the website, yourhiddengenius.com, and it'll open your mind to there's lots of resources, like for your hobbies, what to do with your scores, how to use your scores to write your own LinkedIn profile, to redo your resume. I mean, all that stuff is there. So,
wow, fascinating.
Thank you so much, Betsy. This has been great, and I can't wait for Julie to take her aptitude test, because who knows? Maybe we'll start a funeral home together.
I mean, who
I don't know.
knows?
Maybe that's where maybe they were right a long time ago. Maybe that's what you should do.
We're going to have the best, most fun funeral home out
She
there.
will. She will. You can even steal the little motto from the people in Little Rock. That's actually kind of cute.
That is kind of cute.
Anyway,
I like
thank you so much, Betsy, and thank you, Zoomer moms. Thank you so much. You all asked amazing questions. It was great. And we also want to thank our sponsors.
This Woodlock
Resort is amazing. It's the #1 best all-inclusive resort in 2025.
Maybe we could do like a girls' getaway.
That would be I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Well, we are so excited that they've decided to become part of the Inside the Moms Club family and sponsor our Zoomer moms. And we also want to thank our sponsor, NewCalm, which is that app that helps you relieve stress.
I need it for
sleep
focus.
better, focus, exercise. Yeah. It's great. It is spelled NUCALM, and you can find it in the App Store.
Yes.
Or check out newcalm.com. It is great. And ladies, if you put Moms Club in the code at checkout, you get 15% off every month of your subscription.
I love a good deal.
I do too.
Yes, that's for sure.
Especially,
listen, 2 things. The resort and NewCalm, Woodlock Resort, things that help you relax, peace and tranquility. Yeah. I'm all for it.
We are all for that. You're absolutely. And a good deal, too.
Yeah.
Because, I shop all the time. So on the rare occasion, I got all excited the other day because I actually got a discount on something, and everybody thought that was so unusual for me because
it was an experience.
I usually spend a lot of money, sadly.
You prefer to pay full price.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry, those people will find you.
They will find me. They will. Well, thank you so much, ladies. And I can't believe the time has passed so fast. It always does. And sadly, this was so much fun.
I'm super excited about digging in further to this book.
Well, Julie, I'm going to gift you, since I got to take the test without.
I've
got my sticker here on the back. I hope I'm not cheating Betsy out of a sale here, but you take that test.
Don't you worry. Right ahead. Thank you, Betsy.
You're welcome. Call me and we'll go through your results.
Oh, I can't wait to hear all about all that. Well,
I'll be sending it to you.
We are so excited to have had this episode, and we're going to have many more to come. And remember our motto, ladies. We don't want you to forget it before we part with you today. If you don't laugh sometimes, Julie, what happens?
You're going to cry, people.
You're going to cry.
Don't
cry, ladies. Keep laughing, and we'll see you next time inside the Moms Club.
That's right.